As she said, when I was a young kid, I was a professional cyclist for a number of years, racing in Europe. Have pretty much spent my entire life on a bicycle. Started racing when I was about 8 years old, and quit because of an accident in the early 1990s, but kept riding. And in 2006, I was on a cycling trip, and we were all sitting around the dinner table. We'd been riding a bunch of small roads in Switzerland, and somebody simply said, there should be a website where I could go to find the routes that you know without you being here. And I was like, wow, that's a $1 billion idea. That's all about route sharing and logging and creating a story around your cycling or your hobby. And so we really, it was sort of a funny little story where I started developing Map My Ride, and having never run or really done a lot of other activities, I was kind of fully down the path of creating this like storybook where someone, I kind of think about it this way: someone today, a kid starting to ride his bike or run, could store all of his lifetime of every hill he'd run up or she'd run up, or every, place they had ever run in the world, or, how many calories they had burned, and what that equals in, hamburgers, say. So I was down that road, and I went to lunch with a friend of mine who owns an internet company in Boulder, and I was living in Boston at the time, working in the investment business, and he goes, "That's really funny, because I swear there's a Map My Run." And I was like, "Oh, that's really bad." And so I reached out to the other co-founder, Kevin Callahan, who was a runner, marathon runner, and said, "What are you doing with the site?" And he goes, "Nothing. It's just a small little site to calculate how far you go so that I don't have to drive my car around the block to figure out how far I run." And I said, "Well, you want to sell the site?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I was going to buy all the assets of a couple of other cycling friends of mine who had invested, and I called him back because we lost one of our developers, and I said, "Do you want to quit your job?" And he said, "Yeah, I hate my job." And so there were three of us. Actually, Jeff Kalkstein, one of our other co-founders, was here in Austin, and Kevin was in San Diego, and I was in Boston. And we kicked off the company, and we came up with this idea of kind of similar to maybe like we knew it was going to be publishing, we knew it was going to be advertising based, and really built around the social network and sharing of routes and data around fitness. And so we launched a series of websites. Ride and Run are our two biggest ones. And we have Walk and Map My Hike and Map My Try and MapMyFitness. And we just passed 5 million members. We've raised about $6.5 million since we started 5 years ago. And we moved here to Austin, I would say, for a couple reasons. We still have a big office up in Denver of about 30 people. But we really felt like Austin was a great fit for us culturally, that, huge activity base, and tons of people out riding, running, doing all the things that we love to do. And so it just was a really great fit for us.